Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This evening's reciters are dear Kartikeya for English translation and Lalita Mataji for Sanskrit verses. They'll be reading from Canto 3, Chapter 24, verses 1 to 16. Mataji, will you start with invocation 3 times, please? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, thank you. You can start. Thank you.
Okay. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna, all devotees. Shall I start, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please start.
Okay.
And you'll be fine, Mataji. Don't worry about anything.
Okay, Mataji. Maitreya uvacha निर्वेदवादिनिमेवं मनोर्दिहितरं मुनिः दयालुशालिनीमाः शुक्लाभिव्याहृतं स्मरान्. Translation by Karthikeyan.
Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage, Kardama replied as follows to Swayambhuva, Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation.
ऋषिरुवाच माकिदो राजपुत्री तम् आत्मानं प्रत्यनिन्दते भगवान् सैक्षरो गर्भम् अधुरात् सम्प्रपश्यते.
The sage said, "Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son."
धृतव्रतासि भद्रन्ते दमेन नियमेन च तपोद्रविणदानेक्षा श्रद्धाय चेश्वरं भज.
You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith. Through sensory control, religious observations, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity.
सत्वयारादितः शुक्लो वितन्वन्मामकम् यशः चेतते हृदयं ग्रन्थिम् औदार्यः ब्रह्मभावनः.
The personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman.
मैत्रेय उवाच मैत्रेयो देवहौत्यापि सन्देशं गौरवेण प्रजापतेः सम्यक् श्रद्धाय पुरुषं कूटस्थम् अभजद्गुरुम्.
Sri Maitra said, Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful towards the direction of her husband Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis, or generators of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the master of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart.
तस्यां बहुतिते काले भगवान् मधुसूदनः कार्दमं वीर्यमापन्नो जज्ञेऽग्निदारुणे.
After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Udana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice.
अवदायंस्तदा व्योम्नि वादित्राणि गणागणः गायन्ति स्म गन्धर्वा नृत्यानि अप्सरसो मुधा.
At the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the god, while celestial dancing girls known as Apsaras danced in joyful ecstasy.
पेतुः सुमसो दिव्यः केचरैरपवर्जितः प्रसेदुक्षदिव सर्वा अम्बांसि च मनांसि च.
At the time of Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied.
तत्कर्दमाश्रमं पदं सरस्वत्या परिसृतं स्वयंभुः शाकं ऋषिभिः मरीचि आदिभिः अव्ययात्.
Brahma, the firstborn living being, went along with Marsi and other sages to the place of Kardama's hermitage, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati.
भगवन्तं परब्रह्मा सत्त्वेनांशेन शत्रुहान् तत्त्वसङ्ख्यानविज्ञप्त्यै जातं विद्वानजः स्फराट्.
Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand the proportion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his quality of pure existence, had appeared in the womb of Devahuti just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga.
सबजायान् विशुद्धेन चेतसा तत्कीर्षितं पहृषयमाने ऋष्भिः कर्दमं चेदमभ्यदात्.
After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti.
ब्रह्मोवाच त्वयमे अपचितिस्ताता कल्पिता निर्विलीकतः यन्मे सञ्जगृहे वाक्यं भवान् मानदा मानयान्.
Lord Brahma said, My dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me.
एतवत्येव शुश्रूषा कार्यपितरिपुत्रैका बाढ्यमिच्छनु मन्येत गौरवेण गुरोर्वचः.
Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this intent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, Yes, sir.
इमाः तु हितरं सत्यः तव वस्सा सुमध्यमाः सर्गमेतं प्रभावैः स्वयं स्वयं बृहयुष्वनि अनेकदा.
Lord Brahma then praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters, saying, "All your thin-waisted daughters were certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descents in various ways."
अतस्त्वं ऋषिमुख्योऽभ्या यथा शीलं यथा रुचि आत्माज्ञं परिदेह्याद्ये देहेद्या विसृणीहि यशो भुवि.
Therefore, today, please give away your daughters to the foremost of the ages, with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your flame all over the universe.
वेदः माद्यं पुरुषमम् अवतीर्णं स्वमायया भूतानं सेवदिं देहं बिभ्राणं कपिलं मुने.
O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by His eternal energy. He is the best tower of all that is desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni.
Thank you. Please forgive me, Mataji, in case of any mistakes. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lalita Devi Mataji and dear Kartikeya, Bhakta Kartikeya. Thank you so much. It is very beautiful recitations.
Thank you, Mahaprabhuji. Please forgive me any mistakes.
No mistakes, Mataji. It is so divine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and also giving this opportunity to speak few words on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we shall enter into Srimad Bhagavatam by offering our prayers to all the worshipable Acharyas, Gurus, Krishna, Radharani, Vaishnavas, everyone, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. Oh. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतं स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृसतां। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवदुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। एते चांशकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः। कृष्णे सुदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेष पुरा नरको अधुनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। अथ विश्वेषु विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्तिदृढं पाणिषु विष्णुषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषया मतिरुमधिपते असकृतिमुद्वाहतद्ध गङ्ग्यवघूदन्वतीं। श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख विष्णु वृषभावनिधृग्राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्घवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुराटहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गस्य मच्चानं किमुताशिषः। पुनश्च भूयाद् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गर्ष तदाश्रयेषु महस्तु यामुपयामि सुरिष्टिं मैत्रसु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेणानामतग्राह व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरम्। श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादाश्रयविरितः सद्गुरुनाथ आकरव्रातात् अज्ञः सिद्धान्तसन्मनीम्। ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you for kindly waiting. I shall share my screen. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is, we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 24. And so far, shloka up to shloka 10 were completed. Today we are covering 11, 12, and 13. So here, Kaddama Prajapati's renunciation. In this chapter, it begins with, just before this chapter, in the 23rd chapter, it ends with the Devhuti's lamentation. And then requesting later on, she requests her husband Kaddama Prajapati to stay few more days. And also, after hearing that request from Devhuti, Kaddama Prajapati responds to Devhuti that he remembers the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he is going to take birth in the womb of Devhuti. Remembering that, he mentions to Devhuti, saying that Ma kido Rajputri ittam atmanam prati anindite Bhagavamste aksharo garbham adhurat samprapatsete. O Devhuti, do not lament. So the Lord is going to take birth in a short duration of time. Do not worry. And then he suggests Devhuti to engage herself in the धृतव्रतासि बध्रन्ते धमेन नेमेन च तपोद्रेण धानेश श्रद्धयाच ईश्वरं भज. Engage yourself in the austerities and penances, and then tapodrevna dhanesha, you give charity and perform austerities. Shraddhayacha Ishwaram Bhaja. Very carefully worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Satvayarito Suklo Bhago Vitanvan Mamakam Yashaha. And then once Lord is pleased, and then he will take a birth from your womb, and then he say what he will do? Chetate Hridayagandhim Audaryu Brahma Bhavanaha. He will cut the knot of material attachment. What you are now lamenting, the Lord is going to appear in your room and he will cut that knot to this material world. So, and then after saying that one, Devhuti very respectfully accepted those words. Maitri Muni says, how she accepts Dehu Chapi Sandesham Gauravena Prajapatehe, with so much of respect towards her husband. And then Samyak Shraddhai Purusham Kotastam Abhajat Gurum, she worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her husband instructed. And then later on, after a considerable time, in due course of time, Tasyam Bahutide Kale Bhagavan Madhusudanaha Kardhamam Viryamapannu Jajna Gnirivadharuni. And Lord, by taking through the semen of Kadma Prajapati, the Lord has appeared from the womb of Devhuti. Just like a Lord is all pervading, he is existing. There is no place the Lord is not there. So, and then giving an analogy, Jajni Agniriva Dharuni, and fire is in the wood already, but it will come by some kind of agitation, by rubbing or by lightning it somewhere or other, it will come out. The wood will burn and it will turn into ashes. But main thing is the fire. Likewise, Lord is already there everywhere. But here, as a matter that he takes the semen of Kadama Prajapati as a shelter and then appear from the womb of Devhuti. And then at that time it is all auspicious. Avadayam Sada Avadayam Sada Vyomni Vaditrani Gana Ganaha Gainti Tamsma Gandharvaha Nutyanti Apsaraso Muda. There are Gandharvas and Charanas, everyone they are dancing and singing by appearance of Kapiladeva. And also whenever the Lord appears, everything, all the stars and all directions, with the nature will be calm and peaceful, and in such a way, in that auspicious moment, Lord appears. Petu Husumanaso Divyaha, Kecharaihi Apavadjitaha, Prashadushya Disesarva Ambamsicha Banamsicha, and everyone's hearts are also very pleased and happy. And the waters, Ambamsicha, Manamsicha, and even the waters and the oceans, the lakes, everything appears very calm and peaceful. Prashedusha, this is Sarva, and all directions it appears all auspicious and very peaceful. So during that time, the Lord has appeared. And then knowing that Kapil Bhagavan has appeared from the womb of Devhuti, Lord Brahma, he understood that Lord is appearing, and then along with his children, he has appeared to appeared in the place where Kaddama Prajapati Ashrama is there. Tat Kaddama Ashrama Padam Sarasvatya Parishritam Swayambhuho Sakam Rishibihi Marichadibihi Abhyadat. And wherever Kaddama Prajapati Ashrama is there, which is surrounded by the Sarasvatya Parishritam, the Saraswati river. Okay, so now his hermitage is nearer to the Bindu Saravara, which is surrounded by the Saraswati river or on the banks of the Saraswati river. Sarasvatya Parishritam. Swayambhuho Sakam Rishibihi Marchadibihi Abhidat. Lord Brahma has come to that point along with Marichi and all other children, Prajapatis. Swayambhuho Sakam Rishibihi March Adibihi, Marichi Adibihi. And then, so now he understands that Bhagavantam Param Brahma Satvenam Shena Sitrhan Tattva Sankyani Vijnapte Jhatam Vidvan Ajahaswarat. Bhagavantam Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his expansion, Satvena Amshena, by his expansion of expansion, Satvena Amshena, Bhagavan Setruhan, O Vidura. Here, O Vidura. So Maitreya Muni is speaking to Vidura. So Setruhan, likewise addressing Vidura as well. So Tattva Sankhyan Vijnapte Jatam Vidvan Ajahaswarat. So Lord Brahma, he understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has appeared by his expansion as Kapila Bhagavan. For what purpose? To expand the Sankhya philosophy, to describe and to spread Sankhya philosophy, which is not different from the devotional service as well. Okay, and here Brahma is addressed as Ajaha and Swarat, and here Ajaha is described like who is not born from the womb of a mother. He has directly appeared from the navel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, from the lotus flower. Ajaha Swarat, and he is also independent. Likewise, the 10th shloka was completed in the last session. So today we have covered from the 11th shloka. And here Maitreya Muni further he describes that after Brahma has come to that point with all other Prajapatis, he first of all he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as we go to the temples, immediately we do Dandavat Pranam to the first of all to the temple. We offer our humble obeisances to the temple, and then to the Acharya, and then to the deities, their lordships. We offer our humble obeisances. Here, Brahma is the father of Kaddama Prajapati. So he is directly going to his father, Brahma's father, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is in the womb of Devhuti. So he goes there and then he offers his humble obeisances, and later on he speaks to his child Kaddama Prajapati and also Devhuti. Okay, 11th shloka. Sabhajayan Vishuddhena Chetasa Tachikishitam Prahrushyamanaihi Asubhihi Kaddamam Chaidam Abhyadat. Sabhajayan Vishuddhena, and worshipping with the pure within the heart. Sabhajayan Vishuddhena. And Chetasa Tachikishitam. Chetasa Tachikishitam, by his Chetasa. So Chetasa is described within your heart. Tat Chikishitam, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prahurshyamanehi, and those intended activities as part of the worship, he has performed all of those things after worshipping. And also when he is worshipping the Lord, what he has engaged. Prahurshyamanehi Asubhihi, and with so much of happiness, Asubhihi, with the senses. He engaged all his senses, using mouth to glorify the Lord, and all the senses, Jnanendriyas, Karanendriyas, everything, to worship the Lord as much as possible, based on Deshakala Vibhagavet. Deshakala Vibhagavet. So this Sabhajayan Vishuddhena Chetasa Tachikeshitam Prahursyamanaihi Asubhihi Kaddamam Cha Idam Abhyadat. After he worshipping the Supreme Lord, and then he speaking to Kaddama Muni. Kaddamam Cha Idam Abhyadat, he spoke. Okay, translation for this shloka. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kaddama and Devhuti. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, anyone who understands the transcendental activities, the appearance and the disappearance of the personality of Godhead is to be considered liberated. Is to be considered as liberated. So, Janma Karma Chime Divyam Evam Jo Veti Tatpataha Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mam Veti Sojjana. all the pastimes of the Lord, they're all transcendental, divine. But that was but one has to understand by the tattva. So Krishna says that tatvena, then such a person would not take birth again in this material world. He is to be considered liberated. And Brahma is therefore called liberated soul because he has understood that he has appeared in this world. And the Tat Sankhya Vijnaptyai Jatam Vidvan Ajahaswarat. Okay, so Brahma understood. So that means he knows the activities of the Lord. So Kapila Bhagavan, it is the 5th incarnation in the list of 22 incarnations that are given in the 3rd chapter of 1st canto. Tataha Panchamaha Kapilona. This is Kapila Bhagavan is the 5th incarnation. Okay, so Lord Brahma gives also again him in the list when he was describing to Narada Muni also. There he also gives a few more incarnations like Hamsa Avatara and Prishni Avatara, Haigriva Avatara, 3 more incarnations separately, and also Ajita, 4 incarnations additionally. So totally we could say 26 incarnations of the Lord. Of course, there are so many. Brahma knows all those things because here Ajaha Swarat Jatam Vidvan Ajaha Swarat Jatam Vidvan, he knows. Therefore, Brahma is liberated soul. Although he is in charge of this material world, he is not exactly like a common living entity, since he is liberated from the majority of the follies of the common living entities. He was in knowledge of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he therefore worshipped the Lord's activities. And with a glad heart, he also praised Kardama Muni because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Kapila, had appeared as his son. Here, because Lord would accept one of his devotees as his father and mother. Likewise, he takes up birth in this material. At the time, the father and mother are also glorified by many devotees. Here, Lord Brahma is appreciating Kardama Prajapati. Okay, and one who can become the father of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly a great devotee. He is certainly a great devotee, like Krishna has appeared to Yashodama and Nanda Maharaj. So, and also Devhuti, Vasudev, they're all great devotees of the Lord. So there is a verse spoken by Brahmana in which he says that he does not know what the Vedas and the Puranas are, but while others might be interested in the Vedas or Puranas, so he is interested in Nanda Maharaja, who appeared as the father of Krishna, as a father of Krishna. And the Brahmana wanted to worship Nanda Maharaja because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a child, crawled in the yard of his house. And these are some of the good sentiments of devotees. If a recognized devotee brings forth the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, how he would be praised. Therefore, Brahma not only worshipped the incarnation of Godhead, Kapila, but also praised his so-called father, Kardama Muni. So there is one beautiful shloka that the women of Hastinapura, they glorify Krishna, that how fortunate this Ahovalam Punyatamam Madhorvanam. Likewise, let me just bring that one. So it gives so beautiful shloka. They glorify the father and mother and all the families there in the 10th chapter. So अहोऽलं श्लाघ्यतमं यदोःकुलम् अहोऽलं पुण्यतमं मधोर्वणम् एतेषु पुंसं वृषभः श्रीः पतिः स्वजन्मना चङ्करमणेन चाञ्चिति. So here, Hastinapura women, they are glorifying Krishna when he is after Kurukshetra battle. Krishna is leaving from Hastinapura to Dwaraka. At the time, they glorify Krishna here. How fortunate they are. Oh, how supposedly supremely glorified is the dynasty of King Yadu, and how virtuous is the land of Madura, where the supreme leader of all living beings, the husband of the goddess of fortune, has taken his birth and wandered in his childhood. Okay, so this is very beautifully, they are glorifying all the dynasties as well. So here Prabhupada is describing about this Brahmana. I do not, so again, there is one shloka like, it is described that Nandah kim akurod brahman shreya evam mahodayam yashoda cha mahabhaga papav yasyaha stanam harihi. So what pious activities did Nand Maharaja performed, and what did Mother Yashoda do? That Supreme Lord drank milk from her breast. Likewise, this shloka comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam as well, 10th chapter 845. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also describes, I wanted to be like the servant of servants, like that. So, and also who knows about the Krishna's pastimes, he can become a guru as well. There are a few other points, like one of the points that I wanted to bring here is, let me just, I do not know what is the Puranas. Naham Veda Nacha Puranani Nacha Shastrani Sarvashaha Gopabhatho Padadbandvam Vande Nanda Grahasada. Vande Nanda Grahasada. I do not know the Vedas, I do not know the Puranas, nor do I know the various Shastras. Okay, I simply worship Nanda Maharaja, in whose courtyard the Supreme Lord, the maintainer of the Gopas, crawled as a child. Okay, so this is Prabhupada is referring here. Naham Veda Nacha Puranani. So he does not have to know about all those things. He is just simply being devotee of the Lord. Okay, so here Brahma is appreciating Kadama Prajapati. So Naham Veda Nacha Puranani Nacha Shastrani Sarvashaha Gopabhattu Padadbandvam Vande Nanda Grihe Sada. Okay, likewise, Prabhupada is bringing that one. And here Kadama Prajapati is also being glorified by Brahma. Okay, that is from this purport here. So Sabhajan Vishuddhena Chetasatta Chikeshitam Prahurshyamanaihi Asubihi Kadhamam Chedam Abhyadat. We shall move to the next. So what Brahma is going to appreciate Kadama Prajapati further. So Shloka 12. Brahma Vacham. So here he addresses Kadam Prajapati that, my dear child, I appreciate you because you have taken my instruction without any duplicity, you carried out. And likewise, Brahma is appreciating here. Brahma Vacham Twayami Apachiti Hitata Kalpita Nirvilikataham Yedme Tanjugrihe Vakyam Bhavan Manada Manayan. Bhavan Manada Manayan. Manayan is respecting your father. Manada, Kadama, who offers honor to the others. Manada. So here Brahma is describing Tvayami apachiti hitata kalpita nirvelikataha, without any duplicity. Some people, some father say something. There is one beautiful shloka comes from whenever the Yayati, he has got 5 children. So out of that, Yayati and 3 children, and then last child, youngest child is the Puru. He asks his children that, my dear child, because Yayati at that time, he was cursed by his father-in-law, Sukracharya, who is the father of Devayani, that Yayati would he would be old. He cannot enjoy with his wife. So at that time, later on, Yayati asks forgiveness, and then Sukracharya says that you can ask your children, if anyone gives their young age to you, you can enjoy further. And Yayati just goes to Yadu, the first child, and then he asks, I would like to, so can you please give me your a youth, so that I will enjoy. And then Yadu, he softly says from the Vedic injunctions, my dear father, so without enjoying this material world, how can I get a renunciation? So, and in such a way, he softly says, but he refers to the Sattvic injunctions. And then later on, Yayati goes to his second, third, and fourth children. And they do not accept the request of their father. And then he goes to Puru. And then Puru, he understood the Vedic injunctions. He simply carries out and then he gives his youth to his father. And then that's why his father blessed Puru that you and yourself, your children, will be kings of this Bharat. Likewise, we see the Kuru dynasty comes from the Puru. Even though the Yadava dynasty, that is Krishna and Balram, those Vasudeva, Ugrasena, they're also coming from the Yayati dynasty only, but only the children of the Puru, they will become the kings of the world. Okay, that benediction was given by the Yayati to the Puru. So there, once I shall bring this one. So here, Sukadeva Goswami describes about this one. Who is the best son? Like that. I'll come here once this translation is purported. Okay, so here, Tvayame apachititata kalpe nirvilikataha yenme sanjugrihe vakyam bhavan manada manayan sanjugrihe vakyam. You have completely accepted my instructions. Okay, likewise appreciating Kadama Prajapati. Translation. Lord Brahma said, my dear son Kadama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me. You have honored me. So, Manada Manayan, likewise, Brahma addresses Kadama. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Brahma, as the first living entity within the universe, is supposed to be the spiritual master of everyone. And he is also the father, the creator of all beings. Kardama Muni is one of the Prajapatis, or creators of the living entities. And he is also a son of Brahma. Brahma praises Kardama because he carried out the orders of the spiritual master in toto. Toto means without any duplicity, without any hesitation, he accepts 100%. He does not reject a single word. That is toto, accepting 100%, full agreement, and without cheating. So Kardama Prajapati accepted the orders of the spiritual master in toto and without cheating. A conditioned soul in the material world has the disqualification of cheating. He has 4 disqualifications. He is sure to commit mistakes. He is sure to be illusioned. He is prone to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. These are the 4 disqualifications. Because of that, whatever human thought and whatever human speak, it contains some fault within it. Because of all these 4 disqualifications. All either government laws or anything they introduce in this world, everything has got some kind of defect. But if one carries out the order of the spiritual master by disciplic succession or the parampara system, he overcomes the 4 defects. So here, disciplic succession, evam parampara praptam. Here, in the bona fide spiritual succession, no one alters the message of God. They will preserve the meaning, and as it is, they will propagate the meaning to the successors, to their disciples, and disciples to their disciples, like that. That is evam parampara system. Evam parampara praptam imam rajashaya viduhu. Okay, in such a way, they will overcome these 4 defects. So we are in the Shri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Guru Parampara system. Guru Parampara Vaishnava Sampradaya. We do not change any meaning of the spiritual master. In some places, in some of them, like thou shall not kill, they say thou shall not murder. In such a way, they will take a different meaning and then change and then kill. Except human, they can kill others. Except dog, they can kill cows. They will do all such kind of nonsensible activities, the sinful activities. Killing is, when there is no restrictions. Killing means it increases of everything. It's a blanket approach. But people, they will put some restrictions for themselves. They add because of their defects. In such a way, they do not follow their spiritual master properly. Okay. And then further, therefore, knowledge received from the bona fide spiritual master is not cheating. Any other knowledge which is manufactured by the conditioned soul is cheating only, because his sense gratification and his desires have been embedded within that. According, he mold those instructions or manufacture those instructions according to his sense gratification level, very subtle level. Either he wanted to rule or he wanted to manipulate, something like that. So this is a cheating. So in this world, what is not cheating? It is only Krishna conscious who are like the pure souls, the saintly people. But everyone else who are living, but who has taken the material body, everyone are like a criminals. Prabhupada used to say, all the living entities who are materially embodied, they are everyone in the sense gratificatory things. But this is Amayo Yashabhotanam Jayatayena Suvrata Tadevihi Amayam Dravyam Punati Nachikichitam. So Narada Muni says to Vyasadeva, everyone, they are diseased. Everyone are in the diseased condition by birth itself. Amayo Yashabhotanam, Bhotanam, everyone. Amayo Yashabhotanam Jayatayena Suvrata, by birth itself. Tade, and then they because of their activity, they are diseased because they want to enjoy the sense material happiness, some sense gratification things. In such a way, they engage karmatmaka, what is that one? Karmatmakam yena sarira bandha. Karmatmakam. In such a way, living engages in karmic activities. But whenever that activities are engaged into Krishna service, that will turn into the medicine for the living entity. Tadevihi amayam dravyam. It will turn into medicine. And then it will purify the soul. Okay, and then further here, Prabhupada is mentioning that is the conditioned soul is cheating only. Any other knowledge which is manufactured by the conditioned soul is cheating. Brahma knew well that Kardama Muni exactly carried out the instructions received from him, and that he actually honored his spiritual master. To honor the spiritual master means to carry out his instructions word for word. When spiritual master asks for a water, who gives water as it is? He is the best student. If he brings something else, non-water, it may be something else, it may be good or not good, but it is not water. But a disciple, the best disciple, he will bring only the water, word by word. He does not bring some kind of nectarian or some kind of poison or something like. He will bring only the water when the spiritual masters exactly understand. So here, the child, Sukadeva Goswami speaks this one. Uttamaha chintitam kuryat, uttamam chintitam kuryat. When the father, considering father's idea, a child executes that instruction of the father, the wish of the or will of the father. He is the best child. Uttamaha, the best. And then second one, proktakaritu madhyamaha. Proktakari, one who acts on the order of the father, to indeed madhyamaha. It is the mediocre, madhyamaha, or the second level. And first class and second class. After father says, okay, my dear child, go and do your duty. Likewise, it is then if a disciple or a child is doing, is the second level. And third one is the adamaha ashraddhaya kuriyat. Adamaha is the lower, who does not have faith in the father's instructions or spiritual master instructions. He is adama. Adamaha ashraddhaya, because ashraddha, without any faith. Kuryat, he acts. He is a third level. And akattaha vucheritam. Akatta vucheritam pituhu. A person who does not carry out, unwilling to carry out the order of a father, he is like a stool. Sukadeva Goswami says here, a son who acts by anticipating what his father wants him to do is first class. One who acts upon receiving his father's order is second class. And one who executes his father's order irreverently is third class. But a son who refuses his father's order is like his father's stool. Okay, these are the four levels of his children of a father. Sukadeva Goswami is describing. But here, Brahma is appreciating Kaddama Prajapati, that you have executed without any duplicity all my instruction. In such a way, you have respected me, you worshipped me. So, and also who has got a complete faith on the Guru, yasya deve parabhaktihi yata deve tata guru. Yata deve tata guru. And tasyete katita hebdaha prakashante mahatmanaha. In the Upanishads, it is described who have got complete faith on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master. Tasyete katita hebdaha prakashante mahatmanaha. And this all the transcendental knowledge revealed to those faithful disciples. Okay, so here a person who has complete faith, complete honor, he will carry out the instructions word by word. Okay, likewise, Brahma is appreciating Kaddama Prajapati. Tvayami apachiti hitata kalpita nirvilikataha yenme sanjugrihe vakyam bhavan manayan. Okay, that is from here, and then from the shloka, we shall move on to the next shloka. And then here, Lord Brahma, he says, it is a very wonderful shloka as well. He says that whenever father says, if a child carries out that instruction, yes, sir, I will do it. Okay, so in such a way, one has to carry out. Here, Brahma is mentioning the statement, how a son should act, or a disciple should act. ये तावती एव शुश्रूषा कार्या पितरिपुत्रकैः बाढमिति अनुमन्येत गौरवेण गुरोर्वचः एतावती एव शुश्रूषा. To this extent, exactly. Etavati, to this extent, eva, exactly. Susrusha, the service. And karya ought to be rendered. Karya pitari putrakaihi. To the father, pitari, to the father. Putrakaihi, by the sons. They have to carry out these instructions of the father at the service in such a way, Bhadamiti, accepting, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bhadamiti, yes, sir, I will do it. Anumanyeta, and he should obey like that. Here Brahma is mentioning that, yes, sir, I will do it. That should be and also with Gauravena, with due deference or due respect, Gauravena, Gurur Vachaha, of the Guru, Guroho, of the Guru, Vachaha, the commands, the words of the spiritual master. Yes, sir, I will do it. Likewise, a son or a disciple should obey the instructions of a father and spiritual master. Here Brahma is mentioning, Etavati eva susrusha karya pitri putrakaihi badamiti anumanyeta gauravena gururvachaha. Translation: sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, yes, sir. Okay, and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so two words in this verse are very important. One word is pitari and other word is guroho. The son or disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father without hesitation. Whatever the father and spiritual master order should be taken without argument. Yes, there should be no instance in which the disciple or the son says, this is not correct. I cannot carry out. When he says that, he is fallen. So this is when Prabhupada is mentioning, when he says that this is not correct, I cannot carry it, then that means such kind of disciple or son is fallen. He is not following the Vedic injunctions. So one must follow without any argument. Yes, I should do it. I will do it. This is yes, sir. Bhadamiti. Okay, the father and spiritual master are on the same platform because a spiritual master is the second father. The higher classes are called Dvija, twice born. Whenever there is a question of birth, there must be a father. The first birth is made possible by the actual father, and the second birth is made possible by the spiritual master. And sometimes the father and the spiritual master may be the same man, and sometimes they are different men. In any case, the order of the father or the order of the spiritual master must be carried out without hesitation, with an immediate yes. With an immediate yes. And there should be no argument. That is real service to the father and to the spiritual master. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura has stated that the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciples. As a man cannot separate his life from his body, a disciple cannot separate the order of the spiritual master from his life. Okay, this is very, very important. A man cannot separate his life from his body. A disciple cannot separate the order of the spiritual master from his life. It is from his life. One has to carry out the instruction of the spiritual master, the Vani, at any point of time. So he must carry out that one. But what spiritual master says that hardly few things. You chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, follow the rules and regulations, and be cooperate with all your God brothers and God sisters, and distribute books and spread Krishna consciousness. In such a way, spiritual master. So one has to take that one as a his life and soul. He is a best disciple or best son. Okay, and here this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciples. Is the life and soul of the disciples. It's a lifetime commitment. If a disciple follows the instruction of the spiritual master in that way, he is sure to become perfect. That is confirmed in the Upanishads. Okay, this is what Yasya Deve Para Bhaktihi Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyete Kachita Heddaha Prakashanti Mahatmanaha. The import of the Vedic instruction is revealed automatically only to one who has implicit faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and in his spiritual master. Okay, this is again Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Krupaya Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. Who is the most fortunate soul? Who has got a mercy of the spiritual master and mercy of Krishna and receiving the seed of Bhakti. Bhakti Lata Bija. Bija is a seed. He is the most fortunate person. In due course of time, if he nourishes that one by chanting, following regulative principles, associating with the devotees, reading these scriptures, the philosophy among the devotees association, then in such a way he has to nourish. Then that seed will grow and then keep growing up to the Goloka Vrindavan. And does not stop even in between. It will cross all the planetary systems and it will pierce the coverings of the 7 layers of the universe and enters into the Brahma Jyoti and enter into the further Vaikuntha planets and will go beyond Vaikuntha planets until it reaches the Goloka Vrindavana, until it goes to the lotus feet of Krishna. But there it continues further, that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay, but one must have a staunch faith, implicit faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and in his spiritual master. One may be materially considered an illiterate man, but if he has faith in the spiritual master as well as in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the meaning of scriptural revelation is immediately manifested before him. This is Tasyete Katita Haddaha Prakashante Mahatmanaha. Prakashante Mahatmanaha. It will be revealed. All the knowledge will be revealed in his heart. Okay, likewise, Prabhupada is describing here quotations from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as well and Upanishads. So Brahma is also confirming in this shloka. Etavati eva susurusha karya pitri putra kaihi badamiti anumanyeta gaurivena gururvachaha. Gaurivena gururvachaha. Okay, likewise, Brahma is glorifying Kardama Prajapati. So just a few things here. Once Yadu, why Krishna has appeared in the dynasty of the Yadu. So just one statement, when Yayati approached Yadu, he says, "My dear father." So Yayati, he asks the youth from the Yadu. He says, Yadu replies, okay, what is the previous shloka? It is Yayati statement. "My dear son, Yadu, I am not yet satisfied in my sexual desires, but you are kind to me. You can take the old age given by your maternal grandfather, and I may take your youth so that I may enjoy life for a few years more." That is Yayati's statement. Okay, and then further, Yadu responds, "My dear father, you have already achieved old age, although you also were a young man. But I do not welcome your old age and invalidity, for unless one enjoys material happiness, one cannot attain renunciation." So here, Yadu is mentioning again scriptural injunctions. And his path is the one cannot attain renunciation. He wanted to renounce. So one point. And then other children, and then later on, Yayati went to Maharaja Parikshit. Yayati similarly requested his sons Turvasu, Drihyu, and Anu to exchange their youth for his old age. But because they were unaware of the religious principles, they thought that their flickering youth was eternal, and therefore they refused to carry out their father's order. And then King Yayati then requested Puru, who was younger than these three brothers but more qualified. "My dear son, do not be disobedient like your elder brothers, for that is not your duty." Then Puru says that, "O your majesty, who in this world can repay his debt to his father? By the mercy of one's father, one gets the human form of life, which can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord." It is a very beautiful statement mentioned by Puru. So here, one gets human form of life, which can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. So because of that, the Pandavas, the devotees of the Lord, they have appeared in the Kuru dynasty or Puru dynasty. Okay, and also Yadu, he is also a devotee of the Lord. So, but Krishna has chosen to take birth in the Yadu dynasty. Again, this one is described here. Aho alam slagyatamam yadoho kulam. To glorify King Yadu, the Lord has appeared. Even in Kunti Maharani prayers also, to please King Yadu, Lord Krishna has appeared in the Yadu dynasty. Yadu is a devotee of the Lord. So, but he has also got some this knowledge, transcendental knowledge. So, on that scriptural basis only, he says to his father. Okay, but here Puru accepted his father's instruction and appreciating, and also he mentions one gets human form of life, which can enable one to become an associate of the Lord. The same statement Lord Brahma also says to demigods. "Ye abhitamapi chano dugatim prapanna jnanam cha tattva vishayam sahadharmam yatra naradanam bhagavato vitarincha mushyasa mohita vidaya bhatamaya yate." Oh dear demigods. So we are all ye abhitamapi chano dugatim prapanna, take birth in the human form of life. Jnanam Jnanam cha vishyam sahadharmam yatra. Jnanam cha tattvam sahadharmam yatra. It is described, Brahma says in the 15th chapter of third canto, when he was describing about the Vaikuntha planet, appliances of the Lord in the Vaikuntha. At the time, he mentions two demigods. One who has taken birth in the human form of life. He needs to know and hear such kind of topics of Vaikuntha like that. If he wanted to become like a caterpillar, whenever it is a small insect, and it will make a cocoon, and inside it is meditating when I would become a beautiful butterfly. In due course of time, whenever time has come, in such a way it is meditating later. That worm, that wiggly worm, later it will become a flying beautiful butterfly. It meditates. And similarly, one who has taken a birth, and here one who is thinking of Vaikuntha and the glories of the Lord, he is completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, then he is no more belonging to the material world. He will become that. Like children also, when they wanted to become a medicine or doctor, engineer, first of all, they go in the particular stage. If I wanted to become a eternal servant of the Lord, I need to hear my Lord's kingdom and all the devotees, the Sirjans. So again, this human form of life is mold one's life to become one of the citizen of the Vaikuntha planets. Brahma says that one. Okay. ये अभ्यतितामपि च नो नृकतिं प्रपन्न ज्ञानं च तत्त्वविषयं सहधर्मं यत्र. And let me just bring that shloka. It was very beautiful. That is the purpose of human life. One has to relish everything. Then yes. ये अभ्युतामपि च नो नृकतिं प्रपन्ना ज्ञानं च तत्त्वविषयं सह धर्मं यत्र. This is tattva vishayam saha dharmam yatra नाराधनं भगवतो वितरञ्च मुष्या सम्मोहिता विततया bhatamayayate. Lord Brahma said, my dear demigods, the human form of life is of such importance that we also desire to have such life. For in the human form, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one in this human form of life does not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his abode, it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external nature. It's a Brahma statement. So one has to think and contemplate and study Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the essence of it, and then engage himself in the devotional service. Otherwise, if he is attracted by the beauty of this nature, then it is described here, he is very much affected by the influence of external nature. Okay, likewise, Brahma is also mentioning here, and here the Puru, he is also mentioning to Yayati about that one, perfection of the human life. Yayati here. Okay, and then here Lord Brahma is appreciating Kaddama Muni, that he has carried out his duty very nicely. Okay, I stop. I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions here or you want to share anything or anything striking your mind, so kindly ask or kindly share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. It's just not about this chapter, but what you covered about Yadu, Yayati, and Puru and Yadu.
Yes.
So, if I'm just trying to understand, so in one way, Puru was saying yes, sir, to his father in a
Yes.
way, isn't he? He was saying, yes, sir, I'll do as you ask me to do, or whatever you ask me, I'll do it. But
Yes.
on the other hand, Yadu, even though he disobeyed or didn't do what his father asked him to do, his thinking was that if he prematurely took renunciation or old age, then there would be a chance that he might then fall down. Is that the reason why he didn't obey?
So this is Prabhupada is describing here. Renunciation of material enjoyment is ultimate goal of human life. But without enjoying that, how can he get the renunciation? So that is his point. So here, unless one enjoys material happiness, how can he get any renunciation? And so Prabhupada is describing here the Varnashrama Dharma that is meant for to get the renunciation. So Dharma, Dhaka, Moksha, Brahmacharyam, Grahastham, Vanaprastham, and Sannyasam. It is a gradual step, one by one.
Yeah,
then,
so if he had gone straight to the highest level without experiencing the other one,
yes. So
happened had he?
So here, Yadu's point is that renunciation of material enjoyment is the ultimate goal of life, because sometimes it is depends on the consciousness. Sometimes who are in the brahmacharis, they may be having some kind of thing. Okay, there is material things are also there, and they will. I also wanted to enter into that grihastha, and then later on I will renounce. Again, it is based on his constitutional position, and he is mentioning that scriptural point of view. Maybe you can read this one, Mataji. Would you like to read this one, this paragraph up to here?
Yes, yeah, thank you. Renunciation of material enjoyment is the ultimate goal of human life. Therefore, the Varnashram institution is most scientific. It aims at giving one the facility to return home back to Godhead, which one cannot do without completely renouncing all connections with the material world. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajo Nonmukhasya. One who wants to go back home, back to Godhead, must be nishkinchana, free from all affinity for material enjoyment. Brahmanya upashamashrayam. Unless one is fully renounced, one cannot engage in devotional service or stay Brahman. Devotional service is rendered on the Brahman platform. Therefore, unless one attains the Brahman platform or spiritual platform, one cannot engage in devotional service. Or, in other words, a person engaged in devotional service is already on the Brahman platform. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatithyayetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Bhagavad Gita 14.26. If one attains devotional service, therefore he is certainly liberated. Generally, unless one enjoys the material happiness, one cannot attain renunciation. Varnashram therefore gives the opportunity for gradual elevation. Yadu, the son of Maharaj Yayati, explained that he was unable to give up his youth, for he wanted to use it to attain the renounced order in the future. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So here again, in order to differentiate from Maharaja from his brothers, okay, and this is Turvasu Chodidha Pitra Druhyuhu Chanushya. So, and then what is that one? Maharaja's brothers refused to accept father's proposal because they were not completely aware of Dharma. Not completely, but Yadu is aware of Dharma. He wanted to use that you to attain the renounced order of life in the future after going through the youth, material happiness. Okay, and that is his quotation is from scriptural point of view. It is religious. Maharaja Yadu's refusal, however, was religious. It is not simply like other brothers, other middle three brothers. They wanted to enjoy, but they did not know dharma. And here Yadu knows dharma and Puru knows dharma. Okay, that is the difference.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Okay, any other questions, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Just a reflection. So, based on this, there are times when one can refuse the direction of the Father. In particular, when the direction is irreligious. Are there any other kind of circumstances? Hare Krishna.
So, yes, Prabhuji. So here, the son's reason is religious. Father wanted to do sense gratification. He wanted to enjoy more. Okay, that at that time the son is putting the scriptural injunctions. Who knows the? So there are what else we can see? And for example, in one of the statements of Krishna's pastimes, in the Kurukshetra battle, whenever Krishna asked Yudhishthira that you just say this statement Ashwaddham Ataha Kunjaraha to Dronacharya, so that Dronacharya will hear that he thinks that his son is dead. But Yudhishthira, he hesitates. Yudhishthira hesitates that how can I say these statements to my Acharya like that? But actually, that is one statement about dharma. He wanted to dharma, Yudhishthira wanted to follow dharma. But what is the use of following dharma? Dharma spurnisthupum sam visvaksena kathasayaha notpadyeditiritim shramayevihi kevalam. And if one is not attached to Krishna, then it is a shramayevihi kevalam. But Yudhishthira wanted to follow dharma. So that's why he hesitated. And whereas Krishna's father Vasudeva, even though he promised Kamsa that I would give my child, all children born to me and Devaki, I will give to you, O Kamsa. But whenever it comes to Krishna, he did not give to Kamsa. He just simply took Krishna to Vrindavana and to Raja, and then kept next to the Yasodhamaya and brought the girl to that mother child. So because here Vasudeva has missed the promise, but he did it for the sake of Krishna. And for Yudhishthira, he hesitated. Later on, he carried out, but he hesitated. So there, Vasudeva's act was appreciated than Yudhishthira's act, because Krishna is the center. Similarly, here, Yadu's refusal, because he wanted to achieve that perfection, renunciation from this material world. That is the higher purpose. For that purpose, he is refusing. That is the religious. When we can do anything for Krishna. Kamad bheshad bhaya krodha yata bhakteshware manaha tadakam tadakam hitva bhava. There is one beautiful shloka. Bhava tadgatim gataha. Tadgatim gataha. Everyone who has approached Krishna in such a way, like Kamad Dveshad Bhayat Krodad Yata Bhakteshware Manaha. Somewhere or other, they must come in contact with Krishna. For Krishna's sake, you can do anything. So that is the, of course, devotees, because Krishna devotees, they follow all Vedic injunctions, but sometimes they do go beyond it for the Krishna's sake.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you. That's much clearer. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, shall we move to the next? Okay, no questions. Then in that case, we shall conclude our session for tonight and see you next Friday. Okay, thank you so much. We shall conclude.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hallelujah, Srila Prabhupada.
Panchakalpatarubhyashcha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Very nice
Prabhuji,
class.
Hare
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.